Recent clinical findings suggest that more than 50% of men over the age of 60 experience a significant decline in physical and sexual performance, but not for the reasons most people believe. It's not simply aging, it's not just hormones, and it's rarely something that just happens. In many cases, the real causes are circulatory changes, nerve signaling problems, and silent inflammation developing slowly over decades. And here's the part that surprises most people. Many of these issues are partially reversible when the underlying mechanisms are addressed correctly. But this is where most people go wrong. They focus on quick fixes, while the real problem is happening deep inside the body's vascular and nervous systems. So today, we're going to break down why performance declines after 60, and what science now shows can help restore strength, circulation, and confidence naturally. What most people over 60 don't realize is that performance is fundamentally a circulation issue. Healthy function depends on strong blood flow through small arteries and capillaries. But as men age, these blood vessels begin to change. The inner lining of arteries, called the endothelium, can become stiff and less responsive. This process is often linked to reduced nitric oxide production, long-term inflammation, sedentary lifestyle patterns, and subtle vascular damage. When this happens, the body simply can't deliver blood efficiently to muscles and reproductive tissues. And the result isn't just sexual performance changes. It can also appear as lower stamina, reduced energy, slower physical recovery, decreased confidence. But here's where it gets more serious. These same circulation problems are often early warning signs of cardiovascular stress, which means addressing them isn't just about performance, it's about long-term health and vitality. Performance is not just about blood flow. It's also about nerve communication. Your brain and spinal cord constantly send signals through the peripheral nervous system. These signals control muscle contraction, blood vessel dilation, hormone responses, and sensory feedback. But after age 60, nerve efficiency can decline. This often happens because of spinal compression, reduced nerve insulation, chronic inflammation around nerve roots, or degenerative spinal changes. Here's what spine specialists are now focusing on. Even mild compression in the lower spine, especially in the lumbar region, can affect the nerves responsible for pelvic circulation and function. This condition is sometimes linked with sciatica, spinal stenosis, or disc degeneration. And when nerve signals weaken, blood vessels don't receive the correct instructions to expand and deliver blood, which means performance declines, even if hormone levels appear normal. But this is where most people go wrong. They try to treat the symptom instead of restoring nerve mobility and spinal health. Hormones do play a role, but not always in the way people think. Testosterone naturally declines about 1% per year after age 30. By the time many men reach 60, levels may be 20 to 30% lower than earlier adulthood. But low testosterone alone rarely explains the entire picture. Recent research suggests performance issues often involve a combination of three factors: reduced testosterone, poor circulation, chronic low-grade inflammation. This combination creates what doctors sometimes call a metabolic slowdown cycle. Lower testosterone can lead to reduced muscle mass, increased body fat, slower metabolism, lower energy levels. And that increased body fat then produces inflammatory molecules that further disrupt hormone balance. If you ignore this, here's what happens. Energy continues to drop, recovery becomes slower, and physical confidence gradually declines. But the encouraging news is that lifestyle changes can significantly influence hormonal health, even after 60. One of the most overlooked factors behind declining performance is muscle atrophy. After age 50, adults lose roughly 1 to 2% of muscle mass every year if they are inactive. This process is called sarcopenia, and it affects far more than physical strength. Muscle tissue plays a major role in hormone regulation, metabolic stability, glucose control, circulation efficiency. When muscle mass declines, the body becomes less responsive to insulin and growth signals. This can lead to fatigue, weight gain, poor circulation, lower endurance. But this changes everything after age 60 because muscles act as biological pumps. When muscles contract, they help push blood through the vascular system. Less muscle means weaker circulation throughout the entire body, which directly affects performance and vitality. But here's a factor most people never hear about: chronic inflammation. Not the kind you feel after an injury, but low-grade inflammation quietly damaging tissues over time. It can be triggered by poor diet, high sugar intake, lack of sleep, chronic stress, abdominal fat. Over years, inflammation can affect blood vessels, nerve endings, hormone signaling, tissue elasticity. And when blood vessels become inflamed, they lose the ability to relax and expand properly, which directly reduces blood flow. This is one reason doctors now look at inflammation markers when evaluating age-related performance issues. But the good news is that inflammation is highly responsive to lifestyle improvements. Now let's talk about solutions, because the goal isn't simply to manage symptoms. The goal is to restore the body's natural systems. Here are several strategies supported by research. 1. Gentle strength training. Resistance training stimulates testosterone production, muscle growth, metabolic health, circulation. Even 2 to 3 sessions per week using light weights or resistance bands can make a measurable difference. Focus on major muscle groups: legs, back, chest, core. These large muscles have the biggest effect on circulation and hormone balance. 2. Daily walking for vascular health. Walking remains one of the most powerful tools for circulation. Just 30 minutes per day can improve endothelial function, blood pressure, insulin sensitivity, and most importantly, blood flow. 3. Nutrition that supports circulation. Certain foods support vascular health and nitric oxide production. These include leafy greens, beets, berries, walnuts, olive oil, fatty fish rich in omega-3. These foods help reduce inflammation and improve blood vessel flexibility. 4. Improve sleep quality. Deep sleep is when the body restores hormones, nerve function, muscle tissue. Men over 60 should aim for 7 to 8 hours of high-quality sleep per night. Poor sleep can significantly reduce testosterone and increase inflammation. 5. Maintain a healthy waistline. Abdominal fat is strongly linked to hormone disruption, vascular disease, inflammation. Even modest weight loss can improve circulation and hormonal balance. 6. When to see a doctor. If performance decline appears suddenly or continues to worsen, it's important to consult a physician. Doctors may evaluate cardiovascular health, blood pressure, testosterone levels, nerve function, metabolic markers. Because sometimes performance issues can be early signals of underlying health conditions, and addressing them early can make a significant difference. A decline in performance after 60 is common, but it is not inevitable. In many cases, it reflects changes in circulation, nerve function, muscle mass, and inflammation, systems that can still respond to the right interventions. The human body remains remarkably adaptable, even in later decades of life. Small, consistent improvements in movement, nutrition, sleep, and metabolic health can gradually restore energy, resilience, and confidence. And perhaps most importantly, these changes support long-term health far beyond performance alone. Because vitality isn't defined by age, it's defined by how well the body's systems continue to work together. If you found this breakdown helpful, consider subscribing for more evidence-based health insights focused on adults over 60, because understanding the body is the first step toward protecting its strength for years to come.